So this is Contemporary Chinese Volume 2, Lesson 2, Dialogue 2. So now we're in the hospital and Wang Ying is talking to the doctor, 医生. And she says, 医生,我肚子疼. 我肚子疼. So again, we've learned from the vocab list that 肚子 means stomach. And in this case, it does refer to what we would call the stomach, which is from the sort of upper digestive part down to the lower intestinal part. More often when they say 肚子疼, they're referring more to the sort of lower intestinal part. If their upper part, which is where the food is digested, is uncomfortable, they would say, well, the 胃疼, 胃. But anyhow, this is just, we would just translate this into English as my stomach hurts, 我肚子疼. Now, what's interesting is you can't say 我肚子是疼. That's number one. Okay, you can only say 我肚子疼, my stomach is painful. The other thing is, we in English will say, I have a stomach ache. So we treat stomach ache as a noun, and because of that we need a verb to go with it. So we say, I have a stomach ache. In Chinese, you cannot say 我有肚子疼. That's wrong. Here we're using 疼 as an adjective to describe this situation with our stomach. And so we can't treat this expression as a noun. So in Chinese, you can only say, my stomach hurts, 我肚子疼. The doctor then asks the question, 你是不是吃了不干净的东西? 你是不是吃了不干净的东西? Okay, so this bit I think is fairly straightforward. Did you? 吃 is our verb here, followed by 了. Now, what we ate was 东西, okay, 吃了东西. But in between the 吃了 and the 东西, we have this description. 不干净的东西. So in this case, what does it mean? To eat unclean things. Well, it means, have you eaten? So here the 了 is expressing completion of this process of eating these things, more specifically, the process of eating unclean things. Now, this is a question. It's not saying this has happened, but it's asking, did this happen? Was this process of eating unclean things done, completed at some point in the past? So the key here is the fact that between 吃了 and 东西there is what's called an attributive, which we've learned before, and we've tested you on it before, and essentially the attributive describes some characteristic or other of the noun that follows it. So here the noun is things, and so the characteristic that we're describing or asking about in this case is whether those things were unclean or dirty. Wang Ying says, 没有啊. So here the is just one of those things that just expresses the fact that no, I didn't. It doesn't have any particular meaning. You could simply just say 没有. It's just there for a little emphasis. Say clearly, no, I didn't. Then the doctor asks, not convinced, asks, 你今天早上吃了什么? 你今天早上吃了什么? Oh, sorry, there's no 你, it's implied. 今天早上吃了什么? So here's our time expression, and again, note it comes before the verb. So when this happened, the expression for when this possibly happened comes before the verb. Now here we've got 吃了什么, 吃了什么. Again, we would just interpret this in English as what did you eat this morning? But just to explain a bit further, there's our verb, there's the 了. Now you notice here it's simply followed by 什么. It's not followed by a noun, so whatever it was that was eaten, and there's no attributive, no description of any kind of characteristics of a noun. But I think the point here is that the 什么leaves open the possibility to say, oh, I ate and then a particular thing with those descriptive some kind of descriptive characteristics associated with whatever that was eaten. So let's have a look in Wang Ying's reply to see whether that's actually the case. 吃了几片面包，喝了一杯牛奶. So, okay, there's our verb plus le. There's the noun associated with eating, so we ate bread. But again, note, it's not just simply ate bread, it's ate several pieces of bread. So in this case, again, this is very clearly talking about completion of the process of eating bread. And we know that because we've got this, what you would call, it's an attributive, and it's about quantity. So we've literally added to the meaning of bread by adding in a quantity of bread. So in this case, we 几片面包, a few pieces. So 几片, a few. 喝了一杯牛奶, verb plus le. This is what we drank. And again, we've modified it or qualified it or added to it by adding in a quantity, 一杯牛奶. So a native speaker is not going to be sitting and listening and thinking, oh, and then what did you do after that? Because it doesn't mean that. Here, 喝了一杯牛奶 simply means that I drank a glass of milk. So that process of drinking is complete. But then she goes on and she says, 不过, based on what we said in the lecture, 不过 is different from 可是 and 但是 in the sense that 不过 is saying, well, it's not a complete a negation of what was said before. So before she said 没有啊 when he asked 你是不是吃了不干净的东西 she said 没有啊 and then she's saying what she's eaten and then something's occurred to her. Oh, but, so she's qualifying or modifying what she said before. But 昨天晚上朋友请客我们去了学校附近的一个饭店我吃了很多生鱼片 Now that's a long sentence. So we've got 1, 2, 3, down to here, 4 clauses in the one sentence. That's a long sentence. And it could be confusing if you try to just read left to right and you know, just doing it in one continuous string. Again, I emphasize, please don't do that. Please look at these long sentences clause by clause. So the easiest one is the first one, but 昨天晚上朋友请客. Now that's a complete little sentence. Last night, friends invited me out for a meal, or treated me to a meal. 我们去了学校附近的一个饭店. So here's our verb plus le, meaning went, and here is the object of that verb, i.e. the place that we went. 我们去了饭店. However, again, let me emphasize, between 去了 and 饭店 is this whole string of information about the 饭店. So it's not just we went to a restaurant, we went to a restaurant near the school, 学校附近, and it was a restaurant. Well, here the quantity is not so important. This is just, you would just interpret this as a restaurant. But I guess the more important information is that it was a restaurant near 附近 the school. 学校附近的一个饭店. So in English, we would simply translate that as we went to a restaurant near the school. A Chinese, when they hear that clause, would not be expecting you to say and then anything, because here the le is clearly about completion of that action of going to the restaurant near the school. And then the same sort of thing is followed on in the next clause. 我吃了很多生鱼片. So what did I eat at the time? I ate sashimi, but it's not just sashimi. I ate 很多, a lot of sashimi. So again, the le here means completion of that action. Completion of the process of eating a lot of sashimi. Now if I just said, or if in this case, sorry, Wang Ying said, 我吃了生鱼片 without the 很多, again, let me emphasize, a native speaker in their mind would be thinking, oh, okay, and then what happened? Because 我吃了生鱼片 means after I ate the sashimi. And then we would go and say, then I did this, this, and this. But because this has got this quantity in here between 吃了 and 生鱼片, therefore the 了 here simply means I ate. So then the doctor says, 可能生鱼片不太新鲜. Okay, so 可能, again from a vocab list, possibly the sashimi 不太新鲜 is not too, not that, not so fresh. 新鲜. He then goes on and says, 你得吃药还得. So what you need to notice here, they've got it in the pinyin up above, but we've learned that character before with a different pronunciation, da. But here it's not da. So if you notice that here, this character is following a pronoun, 你. It's not following a verb. It's not following a verb. So where this character follows a pronoun like, 我, 你, 他, 我们, 你们, 他们, or a person's name or a place name or something like that, then it's generally read as 得. And also, and so then it's followed by 吃药, 我们得吃药. So generally this 得 is going to be followed by a verb, not preceded by a verb. 你得吃药. So here the 得 means you must. And then 吃药, as we learned from the vocab list, means to eat, literally medicine, but to take medicine. 还得, you also have to. So here the 还 means also. Now if you notice where it comes in the sentence, how do I know this is also and not still or yet? Well, the first thing is that it's at the beginning of the clause. So it is a linking word. It's like and, we would say in English, but in Chinese they use also. Secondly, it's not followed immediately by a verb. Okay? So therefore it means also, must, 得. Wang Ying then says, 对不起. She breaks in. 对不起. And then the doctor says, 别着急. 我还没说完呢. So we did talk about this in the lecture today. 别, when you're advising somebody to not do something, you use 别, and 着急 from a vocab list is to be worried or anxious. So it's kind of like saying, hey, take it easy, slow down, take it easy. 我还没说完呢. I haven't finished speaking yet. So there's our verb 说 plus another verb 完. So 说 meaning to speak, 完 meaning to finish, and the combination means to finish speaking. And as I said in the lecture, that's very common to have verbs followed by other verbs which give you information about the state of that action, in this case finishing speaking. So 我还没, still haven't, 说完呢. So the 呢 again implies that I'm going to go on, and I'm going to continue to speak. 你得吃药还得, and then Wang Ying once again cuts him off. 对不起, 厕所在哪儿? I'm pretty sure I don't need to translate for you. That's the punchline, and this is where everyone is supposed to laugh.